Kaecey. This is why we can't have nice things. Kaecey is the reason for all of it. They believe as though they can have 37 wives and they just go doing their Mormon thing. What's going on, everybody? We got a quick jump on viewers. Let's keep sharing this one out there. If you guys notice, if you share from the Facebook page, you're going to get a little warning that says we share misinformation. Please know that just means we're cooler than everybody else, plain and simple. So go ahead and share this out. Hit the like button. Hit all the different things. I see Barbara in the chat already. Kevin has been replaced by a much older, less good-looking version, which is Kaecey. And then the better-looking version that is also older, which would be
Wait a
me.
minute. So let's stop you there. You have been gone. So let's say you are replacing Kevin, jerkface.
Deal. Okay. All right. So I'm replacing Kevin just on this episode. I really wanted to talk Roe versus Wade. We've got Soonie. We've got Mo. We've got our special guest. Chelly is in the building. Officer Chi. Officer Chi? I don't know. I don't even know how to do that. So we've got some really good topics today. We're talking Scotus rulings. We're going all the way from the guns, Roe versus Wade, talking the football coach. Our big conversation of the day, of course, will be Roe versus Wade, I believe. We're also going to talk about some news that maybe isn't on the national, plan. We've got, you don't see it, even though 48 people are dead at the border. Well, technically in San Antonio. You got voicemails with Joe Biden and Hunter's dealings on the, of course, laptop from hell. You've got fentanyl pills. And people getting released from the jail because even though they're trying to kill hundreds of thousands of people. What else? We got Buzz Lightyear, girl-on-girl kiss. We could talk about that. And anything else? Did I miss anything? No, I think that's. Oh, Lori Lightfoot dropping the F-bomb. Boom goes the dynamite. Before we get started, Chelly, do you want to say hi to everybody?
Hi, everybody. Thank you guys. See all the comments. It's nice to be back. It's nice to be on here. Thank you guys for inviting me.
And somebody asked the question. It's a pleasure having you, Chelly. Somebody asked, are we on YouTube? So here's the deal. We're on multiple YouTube channels, which we will only be doing one topic on the first channel. We're doing everything we can to break the algorithms and also try to monetize our shows. So for now, I see a lot of people. Kaecey, if you can help me out on this. We've got a split amount of people between Be the Change and Truth Will Set You Free. There's about 11 people on Truth Will Set You Free on YouTube. If you guys can make your way over to Be the Change USA, Kaecey is going to go ahead and put the link in the comments. That's where we want you guys watching from, either that or the Facebook page. Let's see. We have to move. Yeah, move back to Be the Change on this. We're gonna only use the Truth page as an emergency page. If we can do that. So with that said, let's go ahead and get the party started. It's go time with, what is it? What is that echo? Is that Kaecey? This man. That's right, ladies and gentlemen, episode 104 of Truth Will Set You Free. We've got some good stuff. SCOTUS coming down the pipe this week. We are going to have a interesting debate about Roe versus Wade, a little bit about the guns, football coach, why all of a sudden SCOTUS is on a roll. We're going to talk Michael Stanger, unfortunately dead, a big role, I guess, as a police officer for the Senate, the Maine police officer for the Senate on January 6th. Fentanyl pills released, criminals released just days after being in jail, even though they had 150,000 fentanyl pills. Joe Biden and Hunter, 48 people dead at the border, aka San Antonio, coming from the border in a truck, and Buzz Lightyear's same-sex kiss. Let's go ahead and get started. Soonie, say hello to everybody. You're in the middle. What's going on? How you been?
Oh, I was muted. I'm chilling, doing good.
Chilling, doing good. I see you're rocking the shirt there, the colored shirt, I believe. Can you show that one? It's a good looking shirt.
Sure, why not? Can you see it?
Yes. So that is the colored and unvaxxed shirt. Very similar situation where we are in this country right now. I'm actually rocking the new shirt, which I'm very happy with this one. Why? Because we talk about the fact that we have no impact on young people. And if you see what the shirt says make patriotism cool again. The first comment I got on this shirt was from a teenager. I was like, bam. That was the whole goal. If you like any of the gear we got, whether it's the Awake Not Woke hats, the hashtag, let's see, make patriotism cool, Unveed Lives Matter, go to awakenotwokestore.com and use Awake for 15% off. That's all the sales on that one. Kaecey, what's going on with you?
Not much. We have 6 states that are in primaries tonight. So if you don't know, and you actually are registered as a Republican or a Democrat, because our government is a 2-party system, whether people really want to admit it or not, it is. And you only can vote today if you're in a primary because you are registered Republican or Democrat. So I would encourage you to do so.
Man, Kaecey, you really know how to get a girl hot.
Yeah, I know. Literally, my basement is wet. There is a lot of heat running.
That's because you're sitting
downstairs
outside next to a window and you're having pretty decent amount of heat in Texas right now.
By the way, for Barbara here, the madam of Tupperware, I just got my $50 grab bag of Tupperware. So Barbara, go ahead and put your link in there. I got you always have good Tupperware stuff. I'm now Tupperware to the hilt. Anyways, let's see. Hi, Audrey. Hello. All right, Mo, what's going on in your world?
I've been super busy, like super busy. Just been working a lot, working on some new projects, getting my YouTube revived. I'm going to be posting my very first comeback video soon, so make sure you subscribe to Let's Talk Darling on YouTube. All of our links, by the way, are down below in the description box. So if you want to follow any one of us, just let us know.
Is that on YouTube and on Facebook, or just on YouTube?
I put it on the YouTube video. I don't know I don't set up the Facebook.
Links.
Did you do that? Yeah.
I'll move it over on Facebook.
No, don't put the links on the Facebook one, because once you do that, you'll never nobody will ever see this video. You have to put that either comments or in a whatever. But on YouTube, you can see those.
And it's on the Be the Change YouTube, not Truth.
Be the Change YouTube, which we are at. We're down to 6 people on Truth. Will set you free YouTube. Great. We want you guys to keep moving over, and I will be ending that probably at the 15-minute mark at worst.
Yep.
All right. What do we got next? We've got Chelly. We already said. You said hello to everybody. What's been going on in your world? Give us a good solid minute update.
Okay, so I've been off of work since August. I had a torn ligament fighting with a mental in my right finger. So I've been off work. I just saw the doctor again today. We did a cortisone shot today because I still have a lot of inflammation. It's my shooting hand, so obviously I can't be the police if I can't shoot. So we're going to try that. I'll see him back in 6 weeks. Everything else is pretty good. I am now taking care of my elderly father-in-law, so I am literally busy from morning till night. So that's kind of pretty much I keep my viewers pretty much up to date on my page. And I did have a viewer who drove in from Texas to meet me Sunday.
Which is dedication with gas prices as they are. Dedication.
Wow. Shout out to Tammy.
What's up, Tammy? Thank you for visiting Chelly. And I wish now that I know that you had a smash burger earlier, I wish I would have visited. Mo, what's up?
Well, I feel like everybody knows Chelly but me, and I don't know if there's anybody else in the chat that doesn't know Chelly. So, Chelly, what do you do? Because you mentioned you can't be the police, so you're obviously a police officer.
We'll let you guys. We'll let you guys be alone for a second.
Yeah. Can you play some romantic music?
So I'm the police in Chicago. And I used to do these lives with Cash and Anthony and Soonie and Kaecey. So life is just pretty busy for me. So that's pretty much it. So I've been the police for 25 years in Chicago.
Nice. What kind of music is this? If this is the music, is this the sexy time music you play for you and your girl? Because I'm a little concerned.
It's whatever StreamYard has available. I just clicked a button and I'm whatever. I could have turned the music up too. Anyways, I thought it was good.
Wow.
Two things before we get started, and then we're gonna try, guys. Tonight we have focus because it's gonna get dark out here. We are gonna make this an hour and a half episode. If it's not an hour and a half, we're cutting it there, and everybody is going to fall off the screen. So we're going to make this as quick as possible. But I do want to make sure we do a couple different things. First off, if you guys haven't seen, so Mo is going to be one of my guests tomorrow. I'm doing Dr. Brian Artis in the afternoon. That will be episode number 3. Mo will be episode number 4 of Blunt Force Discussion. I am begging on my knees, just like Elizabeth Warren trying to get the abortion rights back to people. Please go ahead and follow Blunt Force Discussion on Facebook. Follow Blunt, and the rest of the videos, actually, to be honest with you, are pretty much on the BTC channels. So you'll see it on there. So Blunt Force Discussion on Facebook and at Blunt Force Discussion on Instagram. I need the followers in order to keep growing the advertising capabilities and abilities. And we have a Patreon for this show to keep this going, because it is harder and harder as time goes on. Patreon.com/BeTheChangeUSA. Or if you want to support Blunt Force Discussion, which we had Chad and Tony Van Schoik as our first 2 guests, Chad Prather. It's been very, very good. You can support that show at Patreon.com/Blunt Force Discussion. Let's get going. We love Chelly back in the blue. Love it. All right. Let's we'll come back into the My Patriots play in a little bit. But right now, let's go ahead and get started. Before we go into Roe versus Wade, I think that'll be the last thing we talk about for in the Scotus area. Scotus has been doing a lot lately. So who wants to lead in with guns or the football coach? Who wants to go first?
Don't all fight.
Wow.
For the chance.
So let's go with guns first, because that's going to be a super quick one, I think, amongst the group. But with the gun stuff, we're talking about what it was New York State versus whoever, and it went up to the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court now just decided that you do not have to justify a reason to conceal carry or to have a reason to apply for a concealed carry permit. And so it has opened the doors across the country to make this so much easier for everybody in the country to be able to conceal carry and have Supreme Court backing. This is a huge deal for 2A and to be able to back it up going forward. Now, that's the whole emphasis about it, is having that backing and that actual support will help every 2A case going forward. And that's the big emphasis with it that we got to look at.
So can I ask a question? Because I still don't know fully what that means. So just like I think there's some questions I'm going to have with the Roe versus Wade ruling as well. When it comes to, I mean, there's a lot of states that you're not even allowed to own a handgun. So like New Jersey, you have to go through hoops. New York, you've got like a year in order to even get a gun. So does the federal law supersede the state law based on that Supreme Court ruling? So can somebody that really has trouble even getting a handgun, can they carry now a concealed weapon in the state of New York?
It goes down a slippery slope because there's variables, right? There's age limits and other things that have not been decided. What this decision comes from is in New York, with a concealed carry situation that was read by the Supreme Court, they said this is not constitutional by saying you have to have a justified reason to be able to apply to get the permit to conceal carry in New York. So they removed that. Now, so yes, it could remove some loopholes in New York, in New Jersey, I mean, because New York is now out of the way with this scenario. So it does make it a little bit easier. And it does open up the door and the avenue for more cases to be reached we'll get to the Supreme Court to review and be able to make sure that they can hold up the 2A. The Second Amendment, it pretty much is all it's doing.
Chelly, I know that Chicago obviously is a predominantly gun-free zone in a lot of ways. What does this ruling, I mean, is there chatter in the police departments? What does this mean?
So I think the ruling will help out in the long run. I don't think at the state level, I think there's going to still be a bunch of red tape, to be honest. I think it'll help out if they have to actually take it above the state level, because we have one of the strictest gun laws in all of the states. So I think that the ruling will set the tone for after you go through all the red tape and all the shit that the state level is going to put you at. To be honest, that's kind of what I'm thinking of it right now, because they made their decision, but they haven't put like age limits. They haven't kind of like broken down or put it into detail.
Okay. So in other words, it's still going to be very hard to buy a gun. If
Right.
it's
Yeah.
so hard to buy a gun in Chicago,
especially in states like this that are like, anti-gun.
So if they're in Illinois, it's very hard to buy a gun. How is there 40 gun crimes last week in Chicago alone and 5 murders?
Well, that was probably last weekend.
Last weekend, sorry. Yeah,
I was gonna say last weekend alone. A whole week, I'm like, your numbers are off, Anthony. It's because, well, first of all, legal guns are not killing people in Chicago.
So where do they get them from? Where do these people get them from?
Who knows? But I don't know what the hell they're doing out here, but there are guns everywhere. For us to have one of the strictest gun laws and have one of the highest homicide rates is absolutely ridiculous. But this is what happens when you live in a super progressive state. And we have Mayor Lightfoot, so.
Mayor Beetlejuice.
Beetlejuice.
Oh, not gonna say it a third time. Anybody else on the gun? Some of the gun stuff that came through, and I mean, so that started the ball rolling where the left was starting to absolutely lose their mind. So I get that.
Yes.
They were like, oh my God, they're allowing guns, which it sounds like it really didn't change much, except for the fact there's going to be grounds for lawsuits if people are going to try to protect themselves. That's pretty much it. It's not like all of a sudden you could go buy a gun if you're 17 years old in Illinois. It doesn't really do that. All it's doing is providing a little bit of judicial protection for those that have qualified to have a gun. Not that not everybody gets a gun now, that have qualified to have a gun that they can now carry it on themselves. Correct? Did I sum that up right? Okay,
correct.
Beautiful.
Yeah, it doesn't change a whole lot for day-to-day activity, but it opens the door to make it to where these liberal states and people in those states that want to get back to having their Second Amendment rights restored, it makes it a little bit easier.
So we've got 8. I'm going to end it right here in terms of the people on Truth Will Set You Free on YouTube. So we are going to bounce over in the count of 10. So in 10 seconds, we are boom moving you out of where we're going to go ahead and boot the feed from Truth Will Set You Free. And we may not have whoever's running the show next week. We may not even go on it. So the count of 10, Kaecey, one more time. Did you already send it? Put it out there. The link, if you see the link in the comments, click that button and head over to the other page in 5, 4, 3, 2, and I almost did it on the Facebook page. 3, 2, 1.
That would have been great.
That would have been really dumb. All right, so I'm going to make sure that I'm doing it on the right page. Remove. Okay.
We just dropped 50 users.
Yeah, no, we didn't. We dropped 5. Suck a bowl of dicks. Okay. All right, let's see. Save changes. All right, we're good to go. All right, we are on. We only lost a couple of people. Hopefully they'll make their way over. People, one more time for Kevin. Kevin ended up having to go to a AA meeting. I'm just kidding. It was something political that he had to go to. So I wanted to talk about this topic, so I want to fill in. So we're about to get to Roe versus Wade. Let's talk football coach. Anybody want to cover that one? The football coach that was praying at the 50-yard line. Anybody know much about it?
I mean, in short, I think his name was Joe Kennedy. He basically got reprimanded for praying at the 50-yard line, and people were offended that he was doing this. I was very much surprised because, whoa, what is this?
I deleted it. I deleted it.
We're on it.
Naked. Okay.
Naked HD XYZ. Try this cheapest sex tender. I'm sure it's a leftist from China. Go ahead.
Anyways, it was surprising to me that this even had to go to a Supreme Court level. To tell you the truth, because I don't know about you guys, but when I was in high school, coaches prayed all the time on the field. It wasn't anything new, but and I was talking to a friend today about that, and he was a coach in high school, and he said, the same thing happened to me. I was told I couldn't pray on the field with the team, but he could stand away from the team, and the team could pray together, which I didn't even understand that. Today I was watching The View, and they were all in an uproar talking about how there needs to be a separation of church and state. And I was listening to a live this morning, and they brought up a really good point. Again, our Constitution is founded on godly biblical principles. Everywhere you turn, when you're being signed in as a judge, you put your hand on the Bible. You know, when you swear into anything for government, you put your hand on the Bible. You know, the lyrics to our songs, you know, our patriotic songs all have the word God in them. In God we trust is on our dollar bill. So don't sit there and tell me that a coach taking the time to pray with his team on the field is offensive to you. If you want to bring your rabbi or your shaman or whoever wants to come down and pray for you, bring them on down.
Bring them.
Right. Well, that's what the First Amendment is for, right?
Yes.
And that's where that comes from.
Freedom.
And when it comes to this, you got to look at where it's from, right? If I remember correctly, this is coming from Washington State. And Washington State, and he's from Bremerton, which is a very woke city just outside of Seattle. And that's where some of this is coming from. Now, I love that city. I played on a golf course in the middle of that city, and it is one of probably the most fun I've ever had on a golf course. But besides the point, when it comes down to what is going on, they are just getting upset at him because he is emphasizing some words of prayer and some religious options with people that might not be religious. Then fine, then don't take action. Don't be involved in it. You can move on.
No big
and
deal.
that's okay.
So the complaint of why he lost his job was that first it started with a coach from an opposing team where other players would come and go over and pray at the end of the game at the 50-yard line. He actually said how great it was. He goes, oh, that's pretty cool. He thought it was cool, which therefore got attention, which therefore got more attention. And then parents on that team, if I had a BB gun, I would shoot these birds. There was
Peter would be after you.
Pew, pew. There was a parent, maybe a parent, that was upset saying that kids' playing time was dependent on if they were a part of the prayer. Absolutely absurd. Yes, a high school coach is going to worry about the prayer. If a kid goes out and prayers instead of playing the best people on the field, what it probably was a mom like, my kid didn't play and this is BS. He deserves to be. Little Timmy's the best on the planet. And that's how it started. Then somebody else probably goes, my kid should be playing too. It's probably because he doesn't pray. And this snowballed into him getting fired for a voluntary prayer, which again shows, and this was, I think, 4 years ago is when it actually happened. This shows that the country has been on a decline for a long time. It's shit like this. It's absolutely absurd. So
crazy.
Anyways, good job, Shelly. If anybody asks where Kevin is, as much as we love him, just help us out and go ahead and put it in the thing. Oh, I like now this is a good one. I like this. Kevin is at a aggression management course. That's pretty funny. Okay.
Talkaholics Anonymous.
I should probably go to the same place. All right. The next topic I know we're gonna have an interesting conversation on. So No way.
We all just 100% agree. We're perfect on it.
I don't know if we do. Okay, so real quick, guys, if you want to support our stuff, some of the stuff that we do, one of our affiliates and one of our sponsors is My Patriot Supply. So as we like to say, friends, the daily news headlines prove one thing. The world is a very fragile place right now. It means that it's time to prepare for more instability. And let me ask you, do you have enough emergency food on hand to get you through severe shortages? I can tell you most people do not. That's why I recommend My Patriot Supply, America's largest emergency preparedness company. Act quickly and you'll save $150 off of their vital 3-month emergency food kit, which contains a wide variety of delicious meals designed to give you over 2,000 calories a day, breakfasts, lunches, dinners, drinks, etc. 3 solid months worth per person. This is, again, one of those things that probably 4 months ago I would have thought you were insane. Like, it's really not that big of a deal. And then here we are. Ukraine can't even send food to half the world. And then France earlier today told Biden, like, hey, Saudi Arabia is actually out of producing fuel. Maybe you should go back to your country and do it yourself. And God knows he won't because of the Green New Deal and AOC with her hand straight up his ass. I feel as though this is a little bit off script. Go to preparewithbtc.com and save $150 on each 3-month food kit. Do it now. Again, that's preparewithbtc.com. Yeah, that's the gist, guys. Go get some long-term food storage. So there you go. I added a little flair to that one. All right.
Didn't work.
What didn't work?
The flare.
Your flare.
The flare? Ric Flair. Woo! That's how we're going to start this next topic. Roe versus Wade, abortion. Woo! Okay. Who wants to address the Roe versus Wade decision first and the lunacy that's gone on in this country? I know all of you guys have done shows on it. I know you guys have tracked after it. Soonie, I would love to hear you give it a start on what the decision means and why people are going a little crazy. Even also recommended by David. Soonie, you go.
Our fellow Canadian.
It just means that the Supreme Court did what they should do. They're operating the way they should. They interpreted this law and came to the general consensus that it has nothing to do with the Constitution. It's not a constitutional right. So the federal government shouldn't be mandating anything at a federal level. So it's back to the states. And ultimately, states can choose whether they're going to have abortion or not. Most states are going to keep abortion. They're probably going to put a cap on it, maybe 10 weeks, 15 weeks. I know Florida might be, it's talking about 15 weeks being the max that you can get an abortion. But this just goes to show that people in America are dumb. They don't understand how their government works. So they're emotionally driven to think something is illegal when it's still legal. You can go to Cali, probably can go to Chicago. Hell, you could probably go to New York. You can go to Pennsylvania. You can go to North Carolina.
Lori Lightfoot is literally doing them herself. Soonie, she's
disgusting.
Wait, oh yeah, she did say that.
I think she said she'd do it herself. She's nuts. Actually, I just made that up, but if that's true, that is even sicker. Soonie, do you think, this is a question I've posed in a lot of ways, and we've talked about on other shows. We talked about the fact that this could hurt the red wave. I'm not going to get into that right now. Do you think that there will be more or less abortions next year compared to this year?
Of course, less. People aren't going to go travel across state lines. That's just too much. They can travel for everything else, like concerts. I don't know. Some women like to travel across state lines to get Peter. But, it's just too much to travel across state lines to get your abortion for you to murder your kid. So I see it going down, me personally. Women are already saying they're going on a strike, which is what we all wanted. Thank you for being abstinent.
I love they're able to be abstinent because they're upset, but not abstinent to.
Well, this just proves,
pregnancy.
right? Because people keep saying this is a woman's right. This is healthcare. This just proves that women want to use an abortion clinic as a means of birth control.
Yeah.
Yep.
They don't, it's not for trauma. It's not because of incest. It's not because of rape. Those are not even 1% of the cases that come in to get abortions. And when you do report a rape, they don't take you to an abortion clinic. They give you a Plan B pill after they conduct a rape kit. This is just women finally admitting this is their birth control. That's why they're asking for men to get vasectomies. No, how about you just close your fucking legs, bro? It's like, it's not that hard. Or just don't have sex. I don't know.
So
they have nothing else to offer, Soonie. That's the problem. They're panicking because they have nothing else to offer.
So again, and getting into the abortion topic, which we can get into, I think that's a different conversation. In terms of the Roe versus Wade law, I think it is very bad law. It needed to be overturned. I don't love the timing just because I think the midterm elections are very important, and then people will say, well, this is saving more babies, et cetera. So I don't think it's actually saving more babies, and I'm going to tell you why. The states that are going to have it, much like as you saw, and this is true. Let's see, New York taxpayers, like any of these super left states are now going to be giving state funds and bonuses to people to travel into other states. Texas, for example, and I do have a question that somebody might be able to answer in a second, but Texas, for example, we took the heartbeat bill last year. We incorporated that, which I don't understand how we were allowed to do that while Roe versus Wade was still intact. But we did that in Texas, and 48% of the abortions from the year before were done, which, that sounds great. That's cutting it in half. That's a lot less abortions. However, if you look at the residents of Texas, it was like anywhere from 96 to 97% of the amount of abortions from the year before, because they just went to another state. They found a way to get it done. And I think people are so enraged right now, they're going to actually possibly kill their children or kill their babies even more. So I don't think it's going to have, a negligible effect, which is why I don't think either side should be angry or celebrating. I think it's just doing what the Supreme Court is supposed to do, which is realize it's bad constitutional findings and have it go back to the states. My
Russo,
question,
you're missing a key piece here, right?
I'm listening.
Every white woman that's got on the news in the last 48 hours has said women of color and poor women can't travel across state lines. So the poor people and the black women and the brown and the natives and the Asians, they're all going to be stuck with babies they don't want because these companies aren't going to cover their costs.
Okay.
But it doesn't matter. Who has the most abortions? Black people, right?
Yes.
And then the second group is white people. All of
It's
the
actually
others,
not accurate.
Hey,
What do you mean?
shout out to my people. We keep all of our babies.
What do you mean not
Bigger
accurate?
babies.
What's wrong?
White women are the white population is number one. We get talked about more because we're a minority. 38% of all abortions come from 38% of abortions are black women. The rest is a small minority of brown, and then the rest is white.
Actually, I'm going to agree with Kaecey because I just saw I was just reading some article today, and it says that I believe the percentage for black women was up to like 40-something%. I'm trying to look for it right now and I'll send it to you.
They're closer, like what you're talking about, Soonie. Like they can almost flip flop depending on when the study is done. But they're close. And so the last numbers I saw, black women were higher than white women. And then it was all of the subgroups underneath that.
So
that you wanted to throw in.
It's black, surprisingly, Hispanic, other non-Hispanic, and white is the lowest.
That's different than what I saw. That's weird. So we're coming up with all different figures.
Yeah, so there you go. We can't, just like Tatum said, you can't trust an article.
Can I throw a wrench in the conversation for something a little bit kind of comical?
No,
and
you have a
interesting?
penis. You have no say.
True. So I find it very interesting that Planned Parenthood is saying that they are going to go out of business in the states where it will be the trigger laws like Texas and Mississippi and Missouri. They're going to go out of business. But didn't they just say that abortion is only 3% of their business?
Yes.
Really? What's the main?
Well, I guess it really is.
Birth control is a big thing. I assume so.
But how are they afraid they're going to go out of business if they're losing 3% of their business?
I don't know. I was hoping for more Halloween stores. That's what I was hoping for.
I don't get it.
They're going to turn them into a spirit store?
Yes.
That's terrible. That's terrible.
Okay, so anybody else have an opinion? I got Soonie's in the fact that there is I think that it's going to be negligible, the difference in abortion, and I think actually in some states they're going to be even more all the way up until childbirth type states. I don't think this is going to have
only 7
any
of those.
effect.
There's only 7 states that have no limits on abortions.
Do you think there might be more now?
No, because there's already laws that exist. So you would have to repeal them and change them or amend them. And so I don't, yeah, it can be done, but I doubt it's going to be pushing the limits to extend it. No, I think they're going to be where they're at, or they will actually make it more restrictive. And so, yes, you will have less abortions.
I actually don't think really much is going to change with this ruling. Like I agree with the ruling, and I know people in the comments are going to hate it because I am pro-choice, but I also believe that there should be limits, right? There should be some restrictions. Yeah. It shouldn't be used as a form of birth control. So I'm not upset about the ruling. I think they did the right thing, to be honest. And I've had like multiple conversations with people that were predominantly Black, Native American. I have a big part of my family that's Native American, who told me that because I was like, depending on your state, nothing's really going to change. Nothing's going to change in Chicago. You can go get them on every corner you want to get them on. But they said that I was, what did they say I was doing? I was we have been set back as women for 50 years. And I wanted to bring this up because 3 of us on this panel are women. Do you at all feel like we have been set back 50 years because of this decision? And I'm thinking, first, nothing is going to change in Chicago. And I think the reason I've become more I am pro-choice, again, with limits. But I think the reason that I feel pushed more to be pro-life is because, especially in states like mine, they keep pushing the goal line. Like 8 weeks, then it's 10 weeks, then it's 12 weeks, then it's 15 weeks, and then it's 22 weeks, and then it's 24 weeks, and then it's till birth in some states. I seen some ridiculously disgusting
Virginia.
video, and I thought, that is ridiculous. That is absolutely ridiculous. But I really don't think, I agree with the decision wholeheartedly. I just don't think it's going to change much, especially in blue states, to be honest, because Democrats love to push the field goal.
So, Chelly, go ahead, Mo.
Sorry, it's kind of like the gun laws, right? Like, if you're a criminal getting a gun, you don't give a damn about no law. Right? If you're a hoe out there getting pregnant all the time, you ain't gonna care about where, you know, what the after effects are. You think about that later, right?
Right. And then what I don't understand is, like, because I feel this is being pushed. I feel this is like another smoke mirror, because something else is about to drop with this whole like Roe versus Wade thing. But there's so many options. And I'm thinking, how naive can you be that there's plan B, there's things you can order on the internet, like there's all these things. And how about just having safe sex if you don't want a kid?
Right.
And again, and that's me being pro-choice. I'm just saying, like, I'm willing to work both sides of that field, but let's have common sense.
And let me add to that. Like, and Chelly, I'm 100% agree with you. That's my wife and I. We had an agreement. We were not going to have kids after we got married. Here in Utah, there's a lot of peer pressure to have kids when you get married, because you got to reproduce, because we're Mormon, and that's just what happens, apparently. But here, Emily and I didn't choose to have kids until we were married for 9 years. So how do you go without having kids for 9 years without this happening, this being even a situation that comes up? Oh, it comes to thinking about the process and being smart, right? There is ways to prevent getting pregnant. There are ways to do it. No one wants to talk about that. Everybody just wants to say abortion is the solution.
And I'm going to pose an interesting side point. And first off, Chelly, I am also pro-choice, and I'm very anti-pro-abortion, but I am pro-choice to a point. And I know Soonie hates that because she hates the idea of a slightly different opinion. I've become more and more pro-life every day.
Hold on. Stop. Don't do that.
Then don't roll your eyes at me.
No, I don't care if I rolled my eyes. I don't have a problem with a different opinion.
Well, you clearly do. You rolled your eyes, right?
I do that to everybody. Chelly did it. I rolled my eyes.
Can I not call you out on it? Calm down.
It has nothing to do with an opinion. I don't have a problem with a different opinion.
Okay, I'll roll my eyes when I don't have a problem with a different opinion. Anyways, Kaecey, can you get that naked HD Tinder out of that?
I'm doing
Already
it.
on it.
I'm doing
Already on it.
All right. So, Chelly, what I was saying is with God, where was I? When it comes to this concept, I think the issue is, oh, sorry, I was talking about my own situation. So I have a child out of wedlock. She was on birth control and it did not work. So I do think, and again, so yes, you should also make sure you're wearing this and having this. And there's all these things that things slip through the cracks. I don't think that it makes it okay to ever have the abortion. I'm not a pro-abortion person. I do understand different circumstances. And here's the point where I think this gets so divisive and why this is such an issue is everybody has a difference in opinion on where life begins. And some people can cite the Bible. People can cite scientists. Just like the vaccine, though, there are scientists that will say life begins when there is when conception. And then they'll say life begins when there is a heartbeat. And then there's some scientists say life begins when you're out of the womb. Judaism, Book of Exodus, actually says it's actually once there is breath outside the womb. And then at the same time, some of the most pro-life people also kill animals, which I also hunt. And that is outside of womb. There's so many, like a lot of topics are black and white and a lot of topics are gray. This is the widest range of human responses to what they believe is life and what is not life. I think that this is why this is that straw that broke the camel's back in terms of division, because there is a lot of conservatives. There is a lot of, not conservatives, I'll say Republicans or right-leaning people that do have a pro-choice stance. And I think that like Chelly, I'm the same way, like 10 weeks, 12 weeks. I think that there's something like to me, it's just different. And I know that, and I know that I can take backlash from our very Christian audience on that. And again, I've even looked for exact scripture that tries to make me want to be pro. I wish I could be wake up in the morning and say it starts at conception and be okay with that and say that I can say what I believe is right. I can't. I really, really can't. And if somebody can change my mind, I will listen. But I just have not heard it in 39 years a reason to be full bore pro-life. But I want to, and again, I would never do it myself. I'm just saying I don't live in everybody else's skin is what I'm saying. Can anybody tell me why?
Address that before I jump in.
No, go ahead.
So my thing is, Russo, I get what you're saying. I do. I am a little bit closer to you than you realize. I do believe there is a justification for abortion in certain scenarios. Am I the medical person to be able to determine all of them? No, but I can think of a few off the top of my head, and that it's justified. And overall, it's mother comes first. I don't care if the mother's life is at risk. It doesn't matter.
Agreed.
You have to take care of her. But when it comes to the circumstances that we just keep throwing out, race and incest, I have not seen any of that stuff being outlawed in any state. Those are still available. So when it comes to when we use these extremes, I believe our government is using this to pin everybody against each other, because you have the far right and you have the far left, and they both bicker and they can never compromise. We can never come to a solution that works for everybody within our country. Now, yes, there are going to be some differences. Is it 12 weeks? Is it 15 weeks? I've always said I don't necessarily think I can come up with that solution. That needs to come from someone else, and we can have a compromise. But because everybody's so staunch in their opinion on one side or the other, we can never come to a compromise. That is where I see the problem is. Now, when it comes to our government, should we be looking to our government to oversee any of these processes? Never. Never. But unfortunately, we have put ourselves in this situation to where we have to ask our states to give us that guidance. That is the problem that we are in right now.
Because it used to be safe and rare. And now we've gone to it's just birth control. And I don't, and I do not agree with that. I just don't. I don't agree with that. But I just think that, and I'm not going to reference Grant this early in the show, but he said something earlier. Do we blame Planned Parenthood? Yes, actually, in a weird way, on a sideways way, I do. Not Planned Parenthood, but the concepts behind it, which made it this. You're taking control of your body, and it's not about what it really is, which is something that should be kept to yourself. You should deal with it. You should have support in your friend group. This should not be something you make a cake for and say, I killed my baby. Yay. Like, that's sick. And watching the protesters is sick, because it shows the difference in civility. You've got government officials like Maxine Waters. You've got, you're funny, Kelly. She just had her period. We're good. So you've got Maxine Waters, you've got Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, you've got who else? Who else is doing it? Pocahontas yelling at the top of their lungs that we have to fight back, not listen to the Supreme Court. This is actual sedition. This is the concepts that lead to insurrection. And these are the people that were yelling at Trump for January 6th, telling their supporters to do the same thing.
Right.
This is a big, are you guys not looking in the mirror right now? I think this is one of the biggest things out of it, because again, it's bad law. It should have been overturned, plain and simple. But come on.
It was made with false information and not clearly thought out. But before we move to another topic, I have a question for the three women on the panel, because I'm curious if you guys feel, I already assume what I believe I'm going to hear, but do you think men should have any say in these decisions when it comes to the law?
Yes.
Sorry, wait. Ask that question again. I'm going to encourage Grant. Sorry, it's early. Go watch some footage of what's going on around the country. They didn't tear down buildings as much as we thought they would, but you have got people screaming at the top of their lungs in excitement of the fact that they should be allowed to kill babe. Like, just watch TV. This isn't a straw man argument. Anyway, sorry, Kaecey asked the question again.
My question for the three women is, do you feel that men should have any say in these circumstances with Roe v. Wade or abortion?
I'll go first. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Shelly.
No, go ahead. Go ahead. That's
No,
fine.
no. You're our guest. Go ahead.
So are you talking about specifically like the man who's the father, or just in making these decisions in general?
In general, because everybody's saying men should shut up right now. And so they shouldn't even go to their state legislature and voice what they feel should be right.
Okay, well, I think that as much as feminists complain about being not equal, etc., I think that men have a right to speak on it as well, because these are the men who are going to be fathering these children. So I feel that they do have the right as well. Just like I hate when women are like, oh, it's my body, it's my choice, he doesn't have any say, but then yet run and sue him for child support. Like it's you guys already know it's the hypocrisy for me.
Right.
Like
I'm not a woman, but I do have to say, as somebody that obviously pays child support, I didn't have a choice, and I do believe that I shouldn't have. Like that was the right thing to do, obviously. But if you're gonna force it on a man, I mean, it's kind of a gray area then. If you're gonna, the other way.
Right. I just want it to be like an equal playing field. You know what I'm saying? Like, if he says that he clearly doesn't want it, yes, he makes two people, etc., but then you decide to have it, then why are you going after him for child support? Like, I just don't like the hypocrisy of it all.
Yeah.
Mo,
go ahead.
I was gonna say the same thing. I personally think that in order for you to get an abortion, if the father is around and wants to have a say in the situation, he should have a say in the situation. I personally know somebody who fought for the mother of their child to not have an abortion. They weren't together, and he sat in the waiting room and prayed that she didn't go through with it, and thank God she didn't. And they have a great son. They're not together, but I think that a father should absolutely have a say.
Soonie, what do you think?
I agree.
So I remember as a kid, not as a kid, as like an 18, 19-year-old. And I just, because I remember I went to go get a job bouncing at a club in Milwaukee, or maybe I was like 19, I was like a sophomore in college. And I did not realize that the club's office was right next to a unknown abortion clinic. Had no idea. I went upstairs and I'm like, hey, do you know if there were the offices downstairs? I didn't even, 19-year-old. I look around and I see like couples. I had no idea. I go outside and I'm just getting annihilated by like, the baby needs a father, and they're yelling and they've got the posters and all this stuff. And I think back then, that was like year 2000, 2001, that side, the pro-life side, was a little bit more on the extreme side. It took me a while to realize what was happening, by the way. It was quite funny at the time. But I'm like, at that time, I do think the pro-life side was a little what would be deemed crazier. But they had a reason. They were trying to save life. And now you've got the pro-choice side, which is no longer pro-choice, it's pro-abortion, that are even more extreme than the early 2000s pro-life people that were marching with their kids, where I was like, that's a little weird. And now it's like you've got people that are being just absurd, chanting, kill children. Like it's sick to see what's out there. I am happy that the protests were not as violent as expected. There was some bad stuff. There was a flamethrower to a policeman. There was damage and destruction, but not on the level I think we all expected. But I think it's pretty crazy.
Yeah. Let me add one more thing to it to address. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Mo. Go ahead.
No. You go ahead, because I wanted to wrap up this subject with a little information.
Yeah, go ahead.
So one of the things that I wanted to bring up, which is kind of Grant Bull's topic here. When it comes to, it's been established for 50 years, from 1973 all the way up to now, that it was okay. Do you guys find that it's kind of convenient that we are now discussing this just as primaries are starting to close or coming to close, just going into an election in 2022?
I think so.
Yeah, very convenient.
Yeah. Like I said, I think it was a smoke mirror for exactly these primaries.
They're doing everything that they can right now to make sure that it is not a full-blown red wave. And as I said, and I hear now Steven Crowder and even Chad Prather and Hannity, I've heard some other people right now going like, as much as this is a win, this could actually affect the midterms because of how they're presenting it. And I agree. I said this 3 weeks ago. Call me Nostradamus, but I thought, or I said it actually 2 months ago when we heard the whispers. And this is what we're going to see. It's going to be a much tighter election than we thought. Before you wrap this up, I saw Soonie's comment, and I think people should know this, including Grant. Explain to me why you think Roe versus Wade is racist and Planned Parenthood. A lot of people still don't know this.
Yeah,
because it is. Because Margaret Sanger wanted to she wanted to get rid of black people. Planned Parenthood is put in black neighborhoods. Black women are the recipients of abortion. Roe v. Wade was racist. She lied on a group of black men and said she was gang raped. It's racist. Bottom line.
Yep.
Go look it up. It's history. It's very well documented. It's racist.
The entire foundation of it. Horrible.
That's why I don't support it. Yeah, there are, of course, my beliefs, but it's racist. I'm never going to support anything that is directly harming, I'm sorry, the group that I come from. It's just not happening. It's racist.
The origins are pretty horrific, which should bring into question anything that Planned Parenthood does. But Mo, go ahead and wrap this up, and let's start moving to topics and bang, 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 and get out of here in about 40 minutes.
Yeah, I just wanted to say, and we kind of talked about this in our group meeting yesterday, that this isn't the only thing that the Supreme Court has ruled on this week. They've obviously ruled on the abortion. They have ruled on Miranda rights. I'm not going to go into detail, but this is that a suspect can't sue officers who fail to inform them of their right to remain silent. They have ruled on firing squad laws in Georgia, voter ID, Medicare, and religious school funding. So go look up everything else that the Supreme Court is doing, because they are really hammering these cases out right now. Why, I don't know. It's very interesting why all of a sudden, again, it could be related to the reason that we were just talking about. But yeah, research it.
And you can actually just go to their website, because that's kind of, I was going back and forth with it today.
Look at their cases.
So for those of you who don't know where to get it, you can just go right to their website. Every topic that they're talking about, everything that they've ruled on, it's all on there.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, before we get off, I had a question, and I'm still confused about the law. This is me needing education. So Texas and some other states and Oklahoma, before Roe versus Wade was overturned, had the heartbeat bill, which goes against the ruling of Roe versus Wade. How was Texas allowed to do that before Roe versus Wade was overturned?
That's because technically the power resides with the state. If the state wants to take the power up with the federal government, they can. But most states won't do it. But if they want to take that in and take on that battle, they actually can do it. And Texas would be one of the states to do it, because they are always the one to tell the federal government to shove it. And
so as I said before,
this is Idaho.
So this is much to do about nothing. Like I kind of said, it's just about now the states have a little bit more ground, right?
Yes.
Okay. I think it's just so much mainstream media jargon bullshit.
It's all bull. That's the whole thing. It's just feeding everybody full of crap. I have people telling me I can't go get IVF now because that's illegal. And I'm like, bullshit. Did you read the bill? The bill here in Utah says it's legal. Like, shut your mouth.
All right, let's talk 48 dead migrants.
I just barely read up on this.
So I think that to me, this is, if anybody looks at the mainstream media today, even Fox. So late last night when this came down the pipe, Fox covered it. CNN had it down on their page, and here we are a day later in San Antonio. We're not talking in the Rio Grande, which we talked about a little bit before the show started, that there's 20, 30 dead daily. We understand that, but this is a truck full of people that actually now is it at 51? 51
yes,
is the new
51
number.
Is what
more
I read
than 50. Desperate families of migrants from Mexico and Central America frantically sought word of their loved ones as they began identifying 51. This is what happened. 51 people who died after being abandoned in a tractor trailer without air conditioning in the sweltering heat. 51. So there was abandoned. We were wondering how this could happen. Like, how, if they're still driving or whatever. The bodies were discovered on the outskirts of San Antonio when a city worker heard a cry for help. Can you imagine what these people went through? And I have to ask the question to you guys on the panel. Who is to blame for this?
I personally say it's Joe Biden. I had a big debate today over DMs with somebody who was like, no, because every president, blah, 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 blah. Listen, Obama, Bush, every president has had to deal with this border issue, but you cannot deny that Biden has had the most lax border policies ever. Okay. And this is why it's a problem, is because he refuses, and his little sidekick Kamala, who is supposed to be in charge of this whole issue, refuses to deal with it. They just want to let people in. And then you have this whole side thing of the human trafficking aspect of it, which is always going on also. And they don't want to do anything about it. That's why they're not covering it, because, I've said, how are they going to spin this? How do you think they're going to spin this? They're going to spin this as, oh, look at these poor migrants. They're coming for a better life, and they died in this horrible, horrible way.
Fox News did cover it. I'm trying to, let me be clear. They didn't make this their main story, which I think 50 something dead people should be. I mean, there's still, even Fox right now is covering the January 6th hearing, and the bombshell with the 25-year-old talking about he said, she said, and their mom said that Trump was trying to pull a limo over. That's still the main topic, instead of 50 dead illegal immigrants / migrants coming to this country.
And there were kids in here also.
Name the border. God, I love when people are so stupid. So the border policy would be a closed border. The fact that we had less people trying to come across the border during the Trump presidency by a fraction of what we have right now. So we have had, if you know right now what's going on, the migrant caravans are growing and growing and growing. And we have more people coming over. We've got more fentanyl than ever coming over. Your vice president in charge, Grant, has yet to go to the border. They have no handle on the situation, and they are avoiding this like the plague, which now has caused. Did you hear of 50 people during the Trump pregnancy dying in the back of a truck? Did you hear of the mass amount of people dying at the border? No,
because they would be too busy talking about Trump. Here's the thing. I believe Soonie's going to probably be in the same line as me here, but when it comes to this topic, there is some personal responsibility. The people that are trying to come to this country, and they were doing this by getting into the back of the truck and trusting that, they need to actually have some responsibility in this. Now, do I blame Biden for the entire thing? No. Does he have some part in this? Yes, because we have seen, and we have showed it many times, that our government is not slowing this down at all. So they also do have some responsibility in it. However, can you blame one side? No, you can't. There are equal responsibilities in this that we need to make sure that we are calling out. Now, I do blame our government for not shutting down the border and actually handling the way they do, but we also are just letting people come in. And so they are thinking, oh, let's get in the back of a box truck with no air conditioning, going through the hottest time of Texas's days in years, and let's just go.
But you know what? You know what I want to remind people is they're running from what we are becoming. Keep that in mind, okay? What these people are willing to risk their life to do to come over here is because they don't want to be in a country where they have no freedoms. They want to come here because they know they have all the freedom and all the opportunity in the world. Okay, they're running from a government that is soon to become our government.
So how is that Biden's fault?
Right. I wouldn't
say it's 100% his fault. Obviously, there's personal responsibility. But they're making it easier for these people to come across. They're not
just making it easier, Mo. And I do agree that it's not 100% this administration's fault. But when they hear that their family members and their friends and their cousins and all these different people have made it across, and not only that, they've gotten cell phones, they've gotten a place to live in some cases, they have gotten help and assistance from the country. When you have been hearing that this is happening by this administration, that's why people are taking this risk. And
So
also, we do not, just like what we're seeing in the media right now, they're not getting mass coverage. Most of these people coming across the border aren't going to see the local San Antonio news, and they're not, unless it is on the main page of Fox or on CNN, which it's not on CNN barely at all. They're not going to see that their risks are this high. They're not going to see the fear. They're going to see, when we get to the country, my cousin told me that I'll get XYZ help. I'll probably have to vote in the next election, but I'm going to get XYZ help. I think that that's why this is a heavy Biden administration issue.
Were there deaths on the border under Trump's watch?
Absolutely.
Yes.
So just because it's not being reported doesn't mean that it wasn't happening at the same level, maybe less. It's their responsibility. Okay, they're getting told to come here. They're trying to flee from something. That is still their responsibility. They are taking that chance with their life. It's not Biden's fault. I'm done blaming Biden because Biden doesn't make any calls. He's got people doing it for him.
That's why I didn't say Biden.
Cabinet.
But he's responsible. But he still is responsible as the commander in chief for whatever. I don't care who's making the decisions.
So it's Soonie. If I said I'm saying his administration. I'm not saying Biden is single-handedly killing the migrants. I'm saying his administration and the policies they've enacted and the fact that we have helped people get across the border. I agree. What's that? Yeah, I agree, Soonie, that it's definitely a personal responsibility. I get that. I'm not going to disagree with you there, but I do think there is a blame that does fall on the administration as a whole.
So then why didn't we blame Trump for all the deaths that were going on the border when he was in office?
Because you can't ever eliminate the deaths. It's always going to be there. They're always going to try to come across.
What's the difference?
It wasn't that we weren't not blaming Trump, but he did enact policies that certainly helped remedy a lot of the issue. I will say that. I'm sorry, but that's just how I feel.
I've been watching Oscar for a long time now. There was still stuff going on the border when Trump was in office.
There was still stuff, but it's a fraction of what we're seeing right now. Chelly, go ahead.
I agree with you both, but I think the only difference that I see is that I think that when you enable people and you give them the go ahead with the open borders, of course people are going to do more risky shit. Like, isn't that why we are in the times we are now with crime and all these other things? When you continue to enable people to do things, or you entitle them, so to speak, like to come through the border. I mean, I personally don't think it's just Biden's fault. I think his whole administration is a shit show, to be honest. None of them are doing their jobs. I don't even believe and that's on both sides, like Republicans and Democrats. Nobody's doing really anything about it. But I do kind of go with I kind of go with both of you. I do believe that this administration has given people that entitlement, so they are going to take more and more risk than what they were before under Trump or any other president, because it was happening under Obama, it was happening under everybody else. But I think that with the open border, of course, people are going to get extra. I don't think this is the end of it. I think we're probably going to find even more bodies because people are going to try to pack as many people in one spot to get the hell across because they can come here. But I do agree that I wouldn't say like it's Biden's fault necessarily.
So real quick, I want to address this because Border Patrol is at their highest funding ever. Correct. It is. And I'm going to tell you something. So the Border Patrol in 2017, Trump enacted a bill to pay them more and to have the most amount of money in the history going in, which was over the next several years. It went up and we are at the same level, I believe, as we were in 2020, 2021, and this year have the same amount. The difference is they're handcuffed. And we have seen videos of the fact that there's plenty of border patrol, but they have been handcuffed by the administration into what they are and are not allowed to do with people when they cross the border. This is the difference between Trump's border security and this security. Yes, people died at Trump's border. They're also but take the people that die risking their lives during Trump's administration and then multiply it in droves because of the fact that we are allowing more and more to come over. Sorry for interrupting.
No, you're good. The thing that's interesting is, dude, the part that you're talking about, you literally had kids and teenagers fitting in dashboards of cars to come over into the country. So you can't say it's 100% on the administration, but there is some self-accountability. Like there's people that have died in car accidents trying to come here because they pack so many in cars in different ways to try to hide them. That is self-responsibility, right? But there is part on our administration for not locking down our borders like Trump did and trying to say you will stay in Mexico until we allow you in.
Catch and release. Just one of the policies, catch and release,
Yes.
huge one. They're actually spending taxpayer money, which is actually, it's not, you know what? It's probably part of that budget to send them to other states, fly them, bus them, all these to different states. So these are the policies and I know you said you genuinely don't know. So one of the biggest ones is catch and release.
Yep.
Yeah.
And let's send them all to, I like DeSantis's idea. Let's just send them all to Delaware. Then they can all be Biden's caretakers.
All right, let's move on from this topic. I want to go just because we're kind of on the border topic. Let's talk about the the drug traffickers. So if anybody doesn't know this story, what's that?
The fentanyl
one. Drug traffickers arrested, and this was published today. Drug traffickers arrested in California with 150,000 fentanyl pills released after just days in jail. And I'm glad we have Chelly on the show because I would like her feedback on how this can possibly happen. I'm gonna give the story. So they were arrested last week for being in possession of 150,000 fentanyl pills, enough to kill millions of people. Were released back into the streets, officials said. So 25-year-old, 19-year-old, both from Washington, were arrested during a traffic stop turned drug bust in Tulare, which is the middle of nowhere, California. Been there. They were booked into Tulare County pretrial facility on charges of possession, transportation, and selling of illegal drugs. Jose Zendejas and Benito Madrigal. But here's what's interesting. The Tulare County Sheriff's Office received a court order to release both subjects from custody on their own reconnaissance. How does that happen? There was enough to kill millions of people, and they were released. Did they know somebody? Were they being helped getting across the border? Was this part of the
it was George Floyd's cousin.
China? I mean, and we all know that fentanyl comes from China and comes through the Mexican border because of some of the policies that we have now that make it open-minded. So explain to me how this could be. Chelly, why does somebody get a call from the DA and say, let's let these guys out? How does that happen?
Because they know somebody or something happened in the prosecution. Just kind of how like Jussie Smollett got free after saying that some MAGA supporters grabbed him and beat him up and all that stuff. So the police can arrest him all day long. But once it goes to the prosecution and they make their calls to release them for whatever reasons, they don't even have to give the police a reason. The police have to follow because they're not going to get prosecuted if the state's attorney does not push for those felonies and push to have them housed. So they obviously know somebody. My honest opinion, they're part of the cartel somewhere and they know somebody really high up, they're connected, and boom, they're gone.
Agreed. And again, this isn't a Biden administration fault. This is just a corrupt government bullshit fault, plain and simple. Let me see this. They were supposed to show up. Oh, that's interesting. I haven't seen that yet. That's fascinating. I don't know if that's true. We got to look that up, obviously. But yeah, shocker. You're gonna. Hey, just guys, you have 150,000 pills of fentanyl. Just come back on Tuesday for your trial. I'm sure you'll be there. Stupid. Any other opinions on this one as we continue to move on? Soonie, Kaecey, Mo?
Nope. I agree with everything Chelly said.
Chelly me banana. Okay. This is another big one. This will go. I mean, Fox covered it briefly. I think that this is something that is also quite interesting. And we're going to play a video real quick. So this is what's his name? Michael Stenger, Senate Sergeant at Arms on January 6th. He was asked to resign. I believe as though once the majority holder was Schumer, I believe. I think he was asked to resign. He resigned the next day. He has continuously spoke out on behalf of the fact that there was paid agitators. He's the one that they blame. He technically was the highest ranking police officer in charge of the security and safety of the Senate the day of the Capitol. He said that they were not prepared. He said they did not have enough people, and he is now dead today. And we do not know the cause of death. I want to play one clip, and then we will talk about it, of him talking. So let me go ahead and share this. Let's see. Share screen. Chrome tab. Sorry, I'm not ready for it. And here we go.
From the events of January 6th, investigation should be considered as to the funding and travel and what appears to be professional agitators.
Let's say that again.
There is an opportunity to learn lessons from the events of January 6th. Investigation should be considered as to the funding and travel and what appears to be professional agitators.
The funding and travel of what appears to be professional agitators. He's been saying this for now. That was February 23rd of 2021. And he's been silenced. He's been quieted. He has also talked about all the different issues with January 6th. Actually, Cash is the one that called me today and told me to look up this guy. He's like, did he really say this? And of course I found it. So that's a lot of stuff. That's a lot. I mean, the fact that he's not with us anymore. Any thoughts? Did he get Hillaried or what happened?
Probably.
I just put that in the private chat. I was like,
funny.
Where was Hillary?
Where's I mean, at this point, what would be another explanation? I mean, it doesn't make sense.
Well, look at the system, right? Let's look at everything they're doing. They're doing everything to sway elections right now. Anything they can do possibly to sway elections. This guy investigated and looked into things early on and had an opinion that went against the system and went against everything. And they probably gave him a chance because he survived almost 14 months. And now he is dead. He got in what I call Breitbarted. You say you have information or you have information, and they take you out. Unfortunately, I hate being that conspiracy theorist person, but that there's a trend. We cannot deny there's a trend here, and the trend continued when we talked about Epstein. The trend might even continue when we start talking about Maxwell.
When she does,
who knows what's going to happen with her and with her 20 plus 5 year announcement today, and so. You're going to see more and more of this. There is a trend that follows these same patterns, and we can't ignore it. And now we just have to remember it exists. Is there anything that we can do to change it? Not really.
Yeah, no, I think it's a pretty interesting one that this is, again, something not really talked about. And then, and you guys can keep talking about this for a second as well, but you've got the massive bombshell hearing today with the 25-year-old ex-aide that said he threw a plate across the room. And you know what? I wish we had a president that could throw a plate across the room without breaking a hip. Like, and he's denied all of it. But at the same time, there's stuff that's got such logical ability to go, that can't be true. Her saying that he was trying to pull over a limo. He sits in the back, and they actually have... It wasn't
actually a limo, by the way.
It was the Beast. It's
an SUV that he was actually leaving in.
Oh, was he in the Beast? But still, gee, that's pretty hard to get up into the whatever. Okay, maybe I'm wrong on that one.
Well, think about Trump. He's not look at him dance. Do you think that he can jump up in front of the seats and grab a hold of a steering wheel and be like, we're turning this thing around? And even if he did, what is he going to do? Go back to the Capitol and be like, we're going in. Yeah. The president of the United States. You think that is going to happen? That is the stupidest thing on the freaking
And
planet.
who was talking earlier was, I don't remember who, and before the show started, saying that the limo driver and some other people want to testify that it didn't happen and they won't let him. What did that say?
Yeah. So the statement says a source close to the Secret Service tells NBC News White House correspondent the lead agent and the presidential limousine driver are prepared to testify under oath that neither man was assaulted and that Trump never tried to grab the steering wheel. This was in response to today's witness.
They're never gonna call her though. They're never gonna call him. I mean,
she lied. That's end of story.
Is there anything weird that we constantly just have these semi-good-looking women that come up and testify and just lie their asses off, just thinking that they're going to get away with it?
Well, yeah, because they already set the precedent. Believe all women, remember?
Mhm.
Ugly or not, ugly or not.
Oh man. Yeah, there was something else about today's hearing that I mean, this is just blatantly in the news. For what reason? Is it the purpose of ever prosecuting Trump? Is the purpose so that they can make sure he doesn't I know the main thing is so they make sure he can't become president again, because there is that 20% of the country that's watching this and believing every word of it. But people don't have the logic to actually look at this and go, there's no way some of this stuff is true. It's crazy that we have
Right.
people in this country that are so ignorant and think that this is really what happened that day. Meanwhile, we're watching actually insurrectionist level behavior in this country over the Roe versus Wade decision.
You had it. You had it in, what was it, Seattle? They took over the Capitol building in
Arizona.
Arizona. Arizona, excuse me. They took over the Capitol building in Arizona.
I'm being attacked.
But it's not called an insurrection.
Did they actually break in, or were they just trying? Were they on the outside? Did they actually?
I don't
get
know
into the
how they
building?
got in, but there are pictures of them inside the building.
Oh wow.
Yep. I liked watching they made fun of a lot of the women trying to use like a cardboard thing and just banging it, thinking that would get them in. It's so funny.
Literally taking cardboard and hitting glass. Like they're gonna get in. Like, okay.
I'm being attacked by these like little gnat things. It's weird. All right. What's anything else on that topic? Oh, there's that train from the other night. It's back.
Oh Jesus.
Choo choo.
Trump train coming in.
Trump
at the right
train.
time.
Yeah.
Please no. Please.
With
no.
that said, we'll go. We're doing good on time. We're on our last topic. I think we can skip the Joe Biden thing. Sorry about the train. So somebody talk about Buzz Lightyear girl on girl kiss. Who wants it?
That was a.
Does anybody have a clip of this kiss, or is it just a still image?
I have only seen the still image, but I have the video. Let me see if I can get to it real
You
quick.
can get it up on. You could actually get the full nude scene on RedTube or YouPorn right now.
I'm sure.
Was there a boy on boy kiss? Like, was Buzz Lightyear supposed to kiss somebody as well in this movie? Because that's kind of what I originally heard. I don't know if that's true or not. I haven't seen it.
I don't know. But you know what? Okay, wait, you guys, think about this. Well, Casey's, we're going to pull this up. Disney has always been known for slipping in weird
Innuendos.
shit. Yes,
Yep.
they really have, like penises in the clouds and whatnot.
All good,
You know.
all good kids go. All good. God, what was the one where the dust kicked up? All
Yeah,
good
in
kids
Aladdin. That was Aladdin.
Yeah, all
Yeah.
good kids have boners or something weird like that.
What?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, there's like a whole, like, I remember seeing one time a cartoon and it was like explaining all of the different things in the different movies. But I was telling the guys earlier, and I don't know if you've seen it in the chat, like sound off in the chat and let us know if this scene really is in there, because my friend went to go see this movie and she said she did not see this scene in the movie. So I was like, whoa, maybe they're just, again, like Chelly was saying, like this manufactured outrage that they like to do online, where they like, maybe this was a clip in the movie they were going to put in and they, somebody leaked it, and I don't know what it is, but
it did. I know people have seen it and they said that it was in there. It was a little weird. Their kids asked them questions afterwards. I don't know where your friend's parents watched the movie, but it's in there. And they just said, I don't know if they were asleep. I don't know. Or are they in Saudi Arabia? Sorry, your friends, they are the parents, I guess. Whatever.
They are the parents.
Do they live in like Saudi Arabia? Which, by the way, out there,
No.
homosexuality is not allowed.
It was in Dallas.
They live in Dallas. Maybe they were sleeping through it, or they sedated themselves to see it, which is what I would do.
Could be. Or she said, she goes, maybe it was so quick that I just like missed it. I don't know. But she's like, I did not notice it in the movie. So
I don't think it's that quick from what I've heard, but I don't know. So ultimately the question becomes, a lot of kids have asked their parents, like, what does this mean? And the parents are having to describe it. And this is a movie for 5-year-olds, 7-year-olds, 10-year-olds. And yeah, I guess at 12, you can start explaining it, but why are we forcing parents to go? I mean, you're not forcing them. Don't go see the movie. You know what? Don't. And I heard it's not great anyways, compared to all the other movies. So I don't know. Did we find the photo?
No. I wasn't looking for the photo. I was skimming through the video. Let me look for it real quick. But here's the problem is I see, it looks like someone's pulling something up. But the problem we have is
don't get us copywritten by playing
yeah,
this too long.
that's part of it. But 2 women kissing right there, right? And there are people saying that this didn't exist in the film that they went and watched. But why was it created in the first place? Why is there a clip of it on the internet? There was an intent, at least in somewhere. No one that's just sitting on the side would just create this and be able to put all of that effort into animation to be able to create it just to make Disney look bad.
Everything is going woke and gay now. It's like everywhere in your face, everywhere. Like I was watching.
Correct.
Okay, I wasn't watching the entire BET Awards, but I was watching some performances to see what they were about, and I was just like appalled at like some of the. I don't even want to call them men, but these guys who should be dressing like men wearing dresses and really shit, and I'm like, what the hell is going on? Like, when did this become okay? When did this become okay? And now you're putting it in children's movies and like, you know. I don't know, and maybe it's because we're so consumed with it that like we notice it now, but I don't know. It's just ridiculous.
Well, that's just what Disney has been doing, right? And now they're apologizing to what's his face, freaking hell, Johnny Depp. And then they're like, "Hey, we'll give you $300 million to come back."
I called
$300 million to come back. We love you. No,
I hope he takes it. No, come on.
He already said he will take it. He already said he will take it.
See, I heard that was a rumor. I heard that was a rumor, and that there has been no official word.
You know,
because I hope he does. I love Johnny Depp as the pirate.
I think it's hilarious, but
I better not see any woke bullshit in there.
No, Disney has always been woke. Disney has been that, especially when you look at even COVID stuff, right? As they were the first to shut down. They didn't care. They didn't want to back anything. They didn't even like what was going on in Florida. And then DeSantis is like, fine, we're charging you more taxes. We'll fix this situation.
Do you find it odd that there is not a single way to find a clip of the photo anywhere online? Like they scrub it, like, and I know that it's created. We know that even if it did make the final cut, which I know it did because some people have seen it. Do they have? I mean, Disney's got a lot of power. I'm sure they're with Google. How is it that I've looked? I'm on DuckDuckGo. I've looked just now on Google. I cannot find a photo of this kiss. I think that's pretty impressive ability to control the narrative on the interwebs. I think that's pretty scary.
Well, I have not actually seen a photo of them actually kissing. The photo I see is of the 2 women like embracing and they're holding a child. So like it's kind of insinuated that they're a lesbian couple with a child. I don't know. I mean, I haven't actually seen even a still of the kiss. So that's what I'm saying.
That's what I'm saying. You can't find it. I know it happens in the movie, but somehow they've managed to find a way to bury it where you can't find it online. Make me a conspiracy theorist, whatever you want to call it. There's no way to find this. Oh, did I actually find the thing? Oh, I think I did find that one line that I was looking for.
Dude, this line, I better hear some good shit in this line. You have been talking about this line since before we went live. Like
all of a sudden I just pulled up one of the articles that I accidentally didn't have up earlier. God dang it. Still don't have it. Never mind, I lied. Whatever. It's just a funny line. It was, whatever. So yeah, I can't find the girl and girl kiss. I know what happened because I know parents that have seen it. God, I'm gonna have bugs in my computer. Final thing, we've got about 5 minutes left. Lori Lightfoot yelling F Clarence Thomas, super classy. Yeah, this is, you know what, let's, instead of talking about the Joe, so just to give an idea, there is a new laptop story find that Joe Biden knows, has evidence that he knew of Hunter's dealings with the spy chief of China. And there was a voicemail where Hunter's like, I think you're good. You're not going to be in the article. And that was in like 2018. You guys can see that more of that stuff is coming out. The one thing we were talking about on the Supreme Court was, sugar. I should have said it first.
You know what? Going on to the Joe Biden thing, I heard that voicemail, and to tell you the truth, the voicemail didn't really prove anything to me. He was just like, "Hey, bud, I saw the article, called me so I can talk about it. That doesn't prove anything. However, I did read The Laptop from Hell, and that completely gives you all of the back and forth conversation between them. And of course he knew. Of course he knew.
Well, wait there. I think you only heard, did you hear the second part of it? Apparently there was more to it. God, what was it? There was more. There was a second half of the call where he kind of gave more explanation. It's also on the article that I read. But again,
I mean,
I
know he did it. I know he did it because I read all the transcripts and you know, in the book that was on the laptop that they haven't released yet, but it's all in the book. But yeah.
Final time. This is what it was. It was about the fact. Because this is the fear of the left and people like Grant, that all of a sudden they're now going to, the Supreme Court will now talk about birth control and same-sex marriages. That's obviously a hot topic for the left. Do we think that, and this will be our last topic of the night, do we think that this is actually something? Do you think that this Supreme Court will overturn the right to marry for homosexuals, for gay people, the right to marry? And do you think there is any chance that they will completely ban contraception across the board?
Well, let us know in the chat if you guys have actually seen anything official. Like, link it in the chat if you can for us, because we were just talking and we haven't seen anything official. I've just seen postings about it.
Define official.
I'd be surprised, to tell you the truth, if they tackled this before an election, because that's a pretty big. The gay marriage thing is a pretty big topic.
Well, what if they tackled it after the midterms? Do you think that's something that they would do? Let us know in the chat.
I don't know. I personally don't know. I wish they would. I mean, I don't have anything against what you want to do in your personal life, and if the state that you're in allows that, that's fine. Like, I recognize that not everybody believes what I believe. But I do think that you shouldn't be entitled to certain rights as a gay married couple, like a straight couple would be. You know, federal rights. I don't know. Healthcare, maybe healthcare. You know, I don't know how. I haven't really put much thought into it, but I think that there's got to be something there that you're not entitled to if you choose to go that route. I mean, I dare to call it a punishment. But
as somebody that believes in pretty much, you know, in this instance, and again, I think abortion is different because I think that you are looking at the life of a human. It is a how do you say it? It is a argument over where life begins and where murder starts and all that stuff. I think that is you're taking something that has something, and I think that there, whether it's a heartbeat or breath or whatever you might want to say, this one is just giving people the right to marry somebody else that they love. And again, I think a lot of people know. I don't think this should be touched by anything on getting rid of. I think that that's something that's overturned. I don't care. I think it's led to some of the outrageous LGBTQ bullshit that we see now. But I do think that there is. I don't want it overturned personally. Go ahead, Soonie.
Did you have a problem when the Supreme Court went over everyone's head to make it legal?
How so? What do you mean?
The Supreme Court ruled to make same-sex marriage legal, and didn't consult with anybody. Did you have a problem with that?
Wasn't there was a case that led to that?
It's not what I'm asking. I'm asking, did you have a problem with the way Supreme Court ruled?
No, not at all.
So you didn't have a problem with them overstepping the states that voted no to get rid of this. I mean, to add it. But you have a problem with getting rid of it. I would have a problem with both. I'm trying to figure out why you don't have a problem with the latter.
If they can find the constitutional reason, like they did with Roe versus Wade, of why the 14th Amendment is not valid, I have to look at the exact ruling of gay marriage and how they and what constitutional and what amendment they use to see if it can be overturned. In a similar sense, when the Supreme Court makes a decision, I'm completely fine with it. That's what the Supreme Court is there for. If they decide to overturn it, I think it, I'd have to see exactly what case and what ruling got us to that point and how they decided it and how they based it off of what amendment and what part of the Constitution. if they are just strictly overturning it because I don't think they would. That's why I don't think I think it's much ado about nothing, because I don't think they'll actually do it. I think it's questionable. I'd have to see the law, what law that they'd be overturning it based on.
Yeah, I don't think there's any cases pending that would put it in front of them so that they can overturn it. I don't think that's happening. I think it's more of like them gaslighting and trying to create a topic just to kind of keep the shit stirring on the left, and to give them more reasons to be like upset and angry and full of themselves.
This was a direct quote from Clarence Thomas. It's not the media. Clarence Thomas said.
What was his quote? I was looking for it, and I could not find it.
We should reconsider gay marriage. They're looking at reconsidering it.
Where did see? I did not.
So
I heard he said something like 2 days ago or something, right?
He's referencing a 2003 ruling, also a 1965 ruling, that established the 2015 decision to make it a constitutional right. There's nothing in the Constitution that references same-sex marriage. So I think it's something that absolutely should be looked at.
So the case started with Obergefell versus Hodges, where a gay couple, Jim and John, who were married in Maryland, where same-sex marriage was legal, but whose marriage was not recognized by Ohio authorities. As often happens with Supreme Court cases, a number of similar cases in Ohio and elsewhere were consolidated into what became Obergefell and Hodges. The Supreme Court heard arguments in 2015, and the court ruled 5-4 in favor of the plaintiffs, stating that both bans on the same-sex marriage and bans on recognizing same-sex marriage were unconstitutional. The right to marry is a fundamental right inherent in the liberty of the person and under the Due Process and Equal Protection Clause of the 14th Amendment.
And here it is, the due process. That's the same thing that they brought up with Roe v. Wade.
And it's based on 5th and 14th Amendment, deprived of life, liberty, and property without due process of law. I don't know.
I just don't agree. And I gotta hop up after this. I just don't agree with new laws being made, and then we're okay with the Supreme Court making a new law with this, but we wouldn't be okay with it in other instances. Supreme Court doesn't make laws, period, point blank. You're there to interpret the Constitution and say if it is constitutional or not. They should have never made this law. It should absolutely be overturned the same way Roe v. Wade was overturned. Let states decide what they want to do. If you can't get married in a state that doesn't recognize it, the same thing we're telling women to do, go to another state that does. It's pretty simple for me.
I agree with you. Yeah, I agree with that. Do you think that they will, though, Soonie? Do you think that they'll tackle this?
Honestly, I do. I honestly do. Because this has become a thorn in everyone's side. And there's nothing in the Constitution that gives you this right. It's just not there. People want to get married, bro. Go get married, but do it in a state that allows you to do so. Stop making everyone else recognize and accept something that either they don't agree with or they're just not cool with it. I wouldn't be okay if just like some civil rights aspects of the civil rights bill. I don't think every white person should be forced to accept a black person if they don't want to. You have a right to say no. States should have the right to say no. And when the Supreme Court abuses that, we should absolutely look at the Supreme Court like, what the fuck are you doing? Do your job or put somebody else in there.
But an abortion, I get what you're saying, but an abortion actually hurts something. Whereas this doesn't hurt anybody. Who gives a shit?
Yes, it does. We're looking at how it's hurt America since it was absolutely made legal. Over the years, America has declined. I'm not going to act like we haven't seen things go downhill once we allowed same-sex marriage. Now you have pedophiles trying to be heard, right? Now they're not calling them pedophiles anymore. They're calling them minor attractive people. Now you have 1,000 different genders that want to be recognized. You open Pandora's box, you can't close it. It doesn't have to have a direct effect on me today. But at some point in history, these rulings affect our lives, and we're looking at it right now. We wouldn't be dealing with this if the Supreme Court didn't overstep the states.
I'm going to tell you one last thing. I think that if that ends up getting done, we will not have a a conservative. We will not have a not even a red wave. I think that we'll go full blue again in 2024. I'll be honest.
I got one more question, and I really got to go. Why do you think that there aren't any people that absolutely will stand on their ground and say, you know what? Okay, I agree with this ruling. Why do you think there are more people that are pro-gay versus people that just are like, nah, I'm not cool with it? It's like you rule us out, and we're gonna lose, and the left's gonna win. Where do you get that from?
Because I know a lot of middle grounders, because of the way my stance on some of these things. I know a lot of people that are going to vote right, but there's a lot of things that can start turning them. The Roe versus Wade already started it. And then if they do away with the ability, what they do with a federal ruling that doesn't have, in my opinion, again, doesn't have an effect on anybody. It's the media and it's the other shit that have made homosexuality so fucking out there and beautiful and extra, like next level, and a whole month of it. That's got nothing to do with actual gay people. So taking away gay people's rights, I think affects, this is a decision of a white. It is a right. I think it is a right to get married and get tax write-offs. Like I think it's silly that, what if gay people aren't even having, what if they don't even have sex with each other, but they love each other and they marry each other? And I know so many gay Republicans that I think that this would be another one where they're like, well, I guess fuck that. I guess I got to go back to voting for liberals because I can't have freedom. Here's what I'll say.
Things become a lot different for you when you're affected at a federal level. When I can't go get procedures I need to go get done because of electives that gay people are now allowed to come in the military and get, it's a fucked up situation. No, I should be able to go get whatever procedure I need. My husband should be able to go get whatever procedure he needs. We shouldn't have to pay astronomical prices out of pocket. But these people don't pay a fucking dime. I challenge everyone, go look at the TRICARE.
No, you're right. You are 100% right. But that shouldn't be tied. That's because of stupid bureaucracy. That should not be tied to gay marriage.
But it is. So it doesn't matter. Shoulda, coulda, woulda. It is. And that's affecting us now.
So then you punish the innocent gay people because of shitty policy.
They didn't have what I don't understand what you mean by punish. How are you being punished when you didn't have that right to begin with? There's no punishment.
I think slaves didn't have the right to
we're not referencing
freedom.
Slaves and blacks.
Well, that's,
gays and slaves, they don't even go together.
But I get that they're two different shades, but it's a very similar argument when you're saying they were, they didn't have the rights before. They didn't have the rights to marriage, but who cares if they do, except for the fact that it's been bastardized.
I mean, I feel like I explained it very well. I'm not going to compare being black and being gay. They don't go together.
Well,
Russo, there's a big difference. There is an amendment that explicitly calls it. That's the difference that I see here. Is there is an amendment that does make slavery not a fair comparison in this situation, and that's the problem.
All right, I won't use that. I guess you can call that a straw man argument, but I do think that there is I think that there is something to be said about something that should not affect other people just by allowing people to get married. And yes, people have taken advantage of it, but that is not necessarily the gay people. That is literally the ultra liberal white female and some of the ultra liberal white males that have decided to go off the rocker in politics, in the administrations, that have made this something that is bastardized. I don't believe in punishing American citizens based on this crazy ultra left view.
But I don't see it as a punishment if you're doing the same thing that the abortion ruling is doing, which is leaving it up to the states, like Soonie said. So if it's right for abortion, then why wouldn't it be right for this?
Because again, I do think there's one that causes bodily harm and one that doesn't. I think it's I think there's different. I think it's a different shade. And I get that it's, again, this is all semantics. This is all semantics.
Doesn't AIDS kill you?
Monkeypox.
Okay. I just want to add really quick that I agree with you as far as like the abortion overruling, as far as this ruling, they would be basically the same thing. It will push it back down to the states. But I will say that I agree with Russo in the fact that I think that it will push where that it would go. People who are middle grounders, I do believe that they would go a certain way and it would go more blue. And the only reason I believe that is because Republicans continuously to this very day sit down and want to do everything by the rules, and they want to wait, where Democrats will push and push and push a fucking issue and drive that home using the media and everything else to push a point, where Republicans have try to do things by the rules and sit back and get stepped all over. So I do agree with exactly what you're saying, but I do agree with Russo that it will push it in a different direction when it comes to the elections.
Yeah.
It's just my opinion.
No,
everybody's entitled to it. I get it.
I don't disagree. I actually like, not that it's going to surprise anybody, but I'm going to be in a little bit of the middle ground here. But I'm not going to regurgitate what everybody else has already said, but I'm also going to outline what I believe is not being said. Which, when you say it's going to change the 2024 election, it will. When do we, most of these big people, when is Lindsey Graham up for re-election? 2024. When is Mitch McConnell up for re-election? 2024. All of these people are going to be up for re-election in 2024 that are in our states that we need to vote out and remove them. They will pick a side in these topics, and this will be the exact thing that they run on. This is why this topic was brought up. When I mentioned the system earlier, that is what this is doing. This is setting the stage for the conversation to continue for another 2 more years to be able to change the election in 2024 and give people more things to run on for their campaign, and so they can keep continuing to divide everyone. That is what they are going to continue to do. They did this with cannabis back in the 90s and the early 2000s. And now that cannabis is out of the way and you can't really do it, so they focused on abortion. Now that abortion is getting out of the way, they got to pick another topic. So they're going to revert back to gay marriage. And then they're going to go to contraceptive. All of the same stuff. And they're going to keep repeating the same cycle over and over just to divide people and use them during the elections. That is it.
Truth. Preach. Soonie, final words, and you can head out, and then we are going to wrap up 100%. So
I don't think I have any. None that are nice.
No way.
I mean, I have stuff to say, but what I have to say is kind of deemed divisive. But I feel
mic drop. Just give it the mic drop and head out.
Go with it.
I'm all for banning same-sex marriage. I'm all for banning Roe v. Wade. I think states should have the right to choose. And that's it. I agree with everything that's been happening. Almost everything.
I don't think that's divisive. That's
no, I think we all kind of agree on most of that.
Well, it's divisive for people who don't like what she says.
Of course. Okay. Right. They're gonna call me homophobe. What you mean?
Okay.
Oh, and by the way, I'm just saying, people, please go look into the origins of Roe v. Wade. All right. Yes. We've kind of been so far removed from why it originally started and what it was for that people are now like, oh, I'm for it. I am not for any racist piece of legislation. I'm sorry. It ain't happening. I think people should understand what it is. You should go study these cases, Supreme Court rulings, and get the origins behind them. Just educate yourself.
Preach. Take it easy, Soonie. Have a good night. Chelly, you're our guest. Go ahead. The floor is yours to wrap it up.
I think we covered pretty much everything that I wanted to say. Thank you guys for having me. It was great being on with you guys. Thank you guys all in the comments for all the love. I appreciate you guys. I think that everybody deserves a seat at the table, regardless of what you believe in. I believe everybody. And if we were able to have these conversations where that we can talk and we can express, like we are doing here, that we have differences of opinions, but in a respectful way, we'd be so much further in life. But I do agree, like, I think people need to get out of their feelings, because feelings do not run the world. That's just my opinion. So thank you guys for having me, Mo. It was very nice meeting you.
You too.
And you guys have a great night. Thank you guys for inviting me. I appreciate it.
Chelly, love you. Take it easy, kid. I want a smash burger.
Anytime.
Kaecey, anybody final words, or should we just wrap her up?
Wait, what are these smash burgers that you guys were talking about? Her husband makes amazing burgers.
Hubby, Cash and I drove through one time, and I'm gonna let you know her hubby can make a hell of a burger. He does this.
Really?
He's got a whole grill recipe thing, and I'm not gonna lie, it is a flavor explosion of meat in my mouth, enough to make me make sure that there is still gay marriage allowed, if you know what I mean.
Somebody clip the meat in his mouth part, please.
This is where Russo is coming out of the closet.
It's juicy. It dribbles out the side, and it just gets you messy with oils and all the good stuff.
Oh,
Anyway.
Jesus.
I really like Chelly. She's very, very nice. I never even knew anything about her before, and everybody was like, "Oh my gosh, Chelly's so awesome." She is really nice.
I missed the fact that she did not say chicken nugget brain one time. I just realized that.
That's
that's
true.
usually her go-to phrase. All right, guys. So tomorrow, Mo and I are going to be shooting episode 4. I'm shooting again, Dr. Brian Artis. If you don't know who that is, there's 5 million views on Rumble of his movie.
Wait. One last push in the chat. Should I bring my wax tomorrow?
Yes.
When I see Russo, let me know in the chat really quick. I need to have everybody's vote, because if you guys vote that I should wax Russo, it's going to go on my interview, and you guys are going to see it. So if you want Russo to get the little waxaroo tomorrow,
Are we doing it to the back if we do it?
Wherever. I think
Jesus.
I'm gonna look at the hair pattern. I gotta look at the hair pattern.
God, I have bugs.
Is Kelly gonna be there? Is Kelly gonna be there?
I don't think she is. Well, she might come for maybe I'll have her come for the early one.
Look at this. Everybody's like, yes.
Yes.
They all wanna
Not
see it.
everybody. There's only like 2. No, it's actually 3 against 1 right now.
3 against 1.
Okay, Barbara. No, you can't vote twice. Can't vote twice. If you're gonna do it, do it.
Grant, do you want me to wax Russo? Put your vote
Oh
in?
no.
Kelly,
Even
are you
Kelly's in for it? So
Kelly,
it's a must, no.
Mo and I are at 1:30 if you want to come entertain that. Or what? Are we at 1 or 1:30? What time are we at?
1:30, but I'll get there a little bit early. But I gotta like heat up the wax, so like it'll heat up
Jesus.
while we do the interview and get nice and hot for you, and then we're just gonna.
Yeah, that sounds terrible. I think it's a resounding yes. I don't know what we're gonna do. Maybe we'll do a design. Can we do like a
No.
I don't know. We'll see. I'm not coming for politics.
A design? Is that what you just said?
That's not-
I don't
that's-
do design.
That's not what she said in bed last night. Okay. Well, if we do just bring the fucking wax. Jesus Christ.
Kelly,
Yes.
I need an assistant. I need an assistant, Kelly. We'll do like official. We'll be like with rubber gloves and everything.
Oh, you don't want to get Kelly started with rubber gloves. That's a whole different. Oh,
Yeah.
crap.
Oh, and Kelly, bring Russo's rubber ball
Let's
so
just.
we can put it in his mouth.
We might just do my best. I don't have a rubber ball, you sick bastard. Make a bunny. So maybe just the back, because I don't want to have like the itches when I'm on vacation.
Okay.
Yeah.
You don't want me to do like the nips? You want me to wax your nips?
Yes.
Oh, this is
No.
gonna be the
So
highest
so how about this?
interview
If
we do.
anybody drops a super chat in YouTube for $20, will he do it?
Oh, okay,
I'm not
we're
doing my-
taking bids.
I'm not doing my
Listen,
nips
hold
for
up,
$20.
Hold up.
No.
We're
No.
taking bids. We're taking bids right now in the super chat.
No, we're not
Okay.
doing my nips. The nips are not happening.
Right, listen. For the right amount of money, I'll go
Russo
down.
will do anything.
I'll
No.
go down. We'll go to the thigh area. I'll go to the
No.
thigh area. Come on, drop your super chat.
Kelly, we don't have sex. We're not married, so therefore that doesn't happen. Just to be clear.
Buy a piece of Russo's body and I will wax it for you.
Yes.
Grant is still talking about that. We're talking about hairy backs and chests. Calm down for once. Can you imagine going to a holiday party with Grant? God, that's gotta
Yeah.
be terrible.
I'm still waiting for a super chat so we can make sure Russo
No,
gets
this
waxed.
is the one time I don't want a super chat. So yeah,
on.
guys. So we're gonna.
Help fund my wax supplies. Let's go. Super chat it up.
Oh God, Kelly's being funny. No God. What was I gonna say? All right, guys. So do us a favor and please support what we got going on. We're working on advertisers. I think actually I just got a message. I think we're getting started with Monate as one of the advertisers. Let me see what she said. Got the order in. Yeah, so we're getting started tomorrow. So Monate's gonna be one of our sponsors, which is awesome. At least as an affiliate to start. We also got the whiskey brand as well. That's all we got. But Grant, we're not talking about politics anymore. Calm down. Aren't you glad I'm broke, Russo? You're funny. All right, guys, have a great evening. We did actually pretty good, staying under 2 hours. We were pretty much done at 1:30. We've been bullshitting for a little bit, so take it easy, guys. Make sure you follow our
Hang on,
Rumble.
wait
follow-
like 3 minutes so I can make a super chat.
It takes you 3 minutes. What the
I'm
heck?
not,
Wait,
I'm
you're
not
gonna
doing any
wait.
nibbles.
You're
Not
putting
doing
in.
nibbles.
You're putting in a bid for the wax.
He's got to do it. Russo's
What
got to do
time?
it.
Sherry. So I'm doing my interview tomorrow. It's pre-recorded, and then it's going to air what next week? You said.
Yes. No, it'll air July 10th.
July 10th. Okay. So you guys are going to have to wait in suspense.
I got to make sure that I give her the right email. Anyways, all right, guys. Have a great night. God bless. Love y'all. Take it easy. Deuces. Be the change you wish to see in the world. Be awake, not woke. Oh, and if you want, I like to make patriotism cool again. Go to awakenotwokestore.com. Awake for 15% off. Take it easy, guys.
Bye.